Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at different ways you can loop animation in Articulate Storyline. Now this can come in handy if you want to cheer up a menu or information slide, or draw attention to a particular part of a user interface with floating buttons and that sort of thing. Now the example I'm going to use today is going to be based on the intro video we just watched. To start, I'm going to insert a video of some animated clouds. Now I've made it so the clouds will loop forever if the video is repeated. Of course, all we need to do is add some triggers to get the video to repeat after it plays. So firstly, let's add the trigger play video 1 when timeline starts on this slide. Then play video 1 when media completes video 1. So what's going to happen here is the video is going to play, and then after it plays, it's going to play again, and loop forever. So that's perfect for what we want today. Next, let's get the cat in here. So this is a GIF that I've made in Adobe Animate, and it's set to loop forever. Now, GIFs have their pros and cons, which I'll get to a bit later on. Okay, so to get the plane to bob up and down, we're going to need to add a few motion paths. Firstly, we'll add a motion path to get the plane into shot, and then move it over to the right. There we go. So always name your motion paths. This one I'm going to call right. So next we need to add 2 more motion paths to get the plane to bob up and down. So we need one to make the plane go down, and then one to make the plane go up. And we also need to add relative start point to each of these so it loops seamlessly. So these need to be the same length, otherwise the plane will start moving off the screen, which we don't want. Okay, I'm just going to speed through the up motion path now. Right then, so let's talk about triggers. This is going to be a lot easier to explain if I show them side by side with the animation. So the first trigger will be to move cat 2 along right when timeline starts on this slide. So this moves the cat onto the screen and into shot. Next we're going to need to move cat 2 along motion path down when right animation completes. So as soon as the cat lands, it's going to bob down. After that, we're going to need to move cat 2 along motion path up when animation completes down. So when the cat goes down, it'll then go up. To get this to loop, we're going to need to add one more trigger, and that's going to be move cat 2 along down motion path when the up motion path completes. This means that when the cat bobs down, it will bob back up, and when it bobs up, it will bob back down. When adding motion paths to GIFs, it's worth noting that the GIF is going to reset whenever it goes from one motion path to another. So you can see here that at the start of each motion path, the scarf sort of jolts, and as you can see, that's where the GIF is resetting. So if you are using GIFs, you might want to fiddle about with the timings of a motion path to make it a bit more seamless. And it's best not to do anything too technical, or this transition will be a lot more obvious. Now for the clouds. I'm going to create a looping animation using layers and triggers. Firstly, I'm going to add a new layer and call it Clouds A. Next, I'm going to draw a cloud and add a motion path to it, and then copy and paste these clouds and arrange them tastefully around the layer. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer and call it Clouds B. Let's also shuffle these clouds around so they're a bit different from the previous layer. Of course, we need to add some triggers to get this to work. So firstly, let's show layer Clouds A when timeline starts on this slide. Okay, and on the Clouds A layer, we want to add a trigger to show Clouds B when timeline ends on this layer. Okay, moving on to Clouds B layer, let's add a trigger to show Clouds A when timeline ends on this layer. Now this will create a loop between the two layers, so the clouds are going to fly past the plane indefinitely. Okay, so let's give that a whirl. So there you go, the cat flies in, the clouds are flying past, and the background is constantly scrolling. Perfect. And there you are, a few simple techniques for looping animations in Articulate Storyline. Of course, you can apply these techniques to absolutely everything, and if used sparingly can really cheer up your slides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.